What links empathy and behavior change? Great question for our Detox panel at the Functional Forum, including co-founder of Evolution of Medicine, Gabe Hoffman, and Andrea Nakayama.
You know, I think it's the whole kind of functional sort of paradigm, I think, has to stay focused on empathy above everything else, because that is what differentiates it. And it also allows you to get that connection with the patient to drive behavior change.
And trust.
Yes.
Because the behavior change is going to come from trust. And I think I really appreciate what you're saying. And also, I think a lot of practitioners are fearful of empathy because of that barrier I was talking about with the queen and the guards. We need some protection for ourselves. So what I'm actually looking at are what are 3 stages that we can look at in empathy, and I'm looking at inquire and identify and integrate. So the inquiry is really asking the questions so we can be with the person and appreciate who they are. Identifying is seeing them, really, who is this that I'm working with? And how do we then integrate what we learn from those processes into our care? So there's a little bit of selfishness for me in the empathy. One is really to see the patient, but I feel like when we're in an empathetic state, not only is there oxytocin flowing and there's more trust in there for both of us in the therapeutic relationship, but we actually garner more information that's going to give us more clues. So instead of just jumping to the conclusion, when we develop that trust and that empathy, that's when the magic comes in, and if we're able to be in confidence and think on our feet, we get the answers that we need because they hold them all. So I really appreciate what you're saying, and I think in allopathic medicine there is a lot of fear of empathy because we don't want to take on their pain. So how do we practice in empathy without bombarding ourselves?
Quit your job at the hospital.
Gabe, you want to add something to that?
Yeah, I think with the empathy topic, a big part of it, it's not just about feeling each other's pain, it's about seeing each other as capable. So, you know, I think a lot of when you feel the pain someone's feeling and you feel the helplessness that they're feeling, I think you're moving away from empathy and more into a sympathy or more into this helplessness with them. When you feel their pain but also see them as capable, it really changes the position. So, you know, what's interesting is all the information, like what was just brought up. So here's this woman, she's had a child, she was toxic when she had the child, now she feels guilty for having done it. So, you know, and at the same time, there are people who haven't gotten pregnant yet who need to understand that this is an important factor of having a baby. So how do we educate those people, but then also let the people know who've already had kids that it's okay. Here's where your step is now. Because the most important thing is that we have a population of empowered people who feel like whatever it is that's on their plate now, they can take on. Whereas, you know, so much about learning about the mistakes we've made in the past just triggers old traumas of just all the mistakes we've made in the past and all the things we can't go back and change. And, you know, it can create a helpless feeling. So I think we have to balance, you know, educating the young woman who hasn't gotten pregnant yet with educating the mother who already has had a baby and letting her know it's okay too. And here's where your steps are, and this person's steps are different. But that overall, everyone is capable of handling whatever it is they have. And I think that's, you know, a more well-rounded version of it.
Thanks so much for watching, and for more great clips like this, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. I've created a special free video just for you. It's called the 5 Steps to Becoming a Leader in Your Wellness Community, and it'll give you some of the starting points on how to position yourself as the leader in your zip code of your health community. All you have to do is click on the link below.